But there's so many of us in the green industry who just obsess over equipment. If you're not going to be using it 80% of the time, I just don't recommend buying it. I think you should rent on a case-by-case basis for work. A lot of you guys that I talk to, you're like, I've got 8 mowers. I'm like, how many mowing crews you got? You're like, 2. And I'm like, why do you have 8 mowers? Stop being that guy. If you're that guy, you need to go to EA, Equipment Anonymous, okay? If you need to do that, I will connect you. I want to hear about all the equipment you have, and hopefully I can tell you to sell half of it.
Welcome to the Green Up Academy podcast with Alex Kirby, where we focus on helping you level up your green industry business. Whether it's marketing, finance, employees, or strategy, we talk about everything on this show to help you apply it to your business and change your family and company's future for decades to come. Here's your host, Alex Kirby.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Alex Kirby here from the Green Up Academy podcast, a podcast of the Green Up Academy, the leading and hopefully, we think, the best platform for you to grow your lawn and landscape company, level it up through coaching, courses, and community. If you guys don't know who I am, if you're brand new, if you found me online or your friends, buddy, his husband told you about us, my name is Alex Kirby. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. It is Soda City, as some call it, Cola. It's very hot. It is really beautiful, though. We are an hour and a half from the mountains, hour and a half from the beach, so I do not complain. Trust me on that. Love living here. Born and raised. Started a lawn and landscape business 8 years ago, Trifecta Landscaping, as many people know me from that, and sold it here a few months ago. And so now I focus on green industry, home service businesses that I can help with coaching, systems, processes, marketing, sales, all that fun stuff. So you're in the right place if you're a green industry business owner, whether it be fertilization, lawn care, trees, whatever it is, to learn how to grow my business, the side, not all the nuts and bolts, not about how to stripe better, not about, all the stuff in the day-to-day of mowing and doing services, but on the business side, the back end, how to hire assistants. We have episodes that you guys can bankroll, look, and listen to from the last couple years, whether it's YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. So a little bit about me if you don't know. Married to my beautiful wife, Faith. I think we're almost at 9 years in November, so 8.5 years. We have 3 little ones. Sage is 5. Callaway, my oldest son, my middle, is almost 3 soon-ish. And then we have a 16-month-old named Titus. So if you can't tell by their names, we are Christian people, faith-based. Sage means wisdom. Callaway means devotion. Titus, one of my favorite books of the Bible. So super important to my family and I, the most important thing. And also we got podcast producer Mac on the other mic to add in whenever we need him to. He does an awesome job producing this. So, so what do we do? If you guys are new, I'm going to assume you guys are new or haven't listened in a while. We just give you 20-minute or so episodes where if you're on the mower, if you're in between quotes, that's why we keep them to around that time. It's intentional so you can listen to them without being interrupted. Or if you're working out real quick, doing a quick run or something like that. So we talk about how to level up your green industry business, how you can take something from an episode today and plug it right into your company tomorrow. So that's our focus. And today, our first sponsor I want to thank is the Green Up Academy. That is our academy where you can get coaching from me, community through our grow groups and our crew. It's only $139 a month, guys, and you get so much community, Zoom calls, Voxer talking to me all the time. Any question you could ever dream of, I'm going to answer for you through our community page, and you get a Facebook group. And then when we go to Equip in the fall, we're going to have an exclusive dinner and event. So you guys are not going to miss that. So check that out, Green Up Academy, thegreenupacademy.com. And you can email me anytime. Like I'll answer alex@thegreenupacademy.com. That's my personal email. Hit me up and I will answer any question you have anytime. We are here to help you. So let's jump in. This is going to be a fun episode because a lot of controversy when I talk about this stuff to you guys, and that is equipment addicts. Okay, we have, you might be one of them. We have a lot of guys in the green industry and girls Shout out to Beck the Beast. She's the girl that comes to my mind when I think of girls in the industry. Beck the Beast. She's awesome, young Christian girl as well. She's so super dope, growing her company. But if there is any other females listening, I would love to know. If there's any other ladies, so I'd love for you to email me and be like, hey, I'm a girl doing it, so that'd be cool. But there's so many of us in the green industry who just obsess over equipment, and who wouldn't, right? I mean, equipment is cool. I've got two. I've sold my company, sold most of my equipment, but I still have two Bobcat mowers sitting right down here at the bottom of my barn. We're in our studio. I've got, 15 weed eaters and hedge trimmers over here on the wall. I've got a lot of fun equipment, a lot. And I'm going to get more. I'm getting a tractor here in the next year or so. But as a business owner, it is one of the biggest pitfalls I see in those in the lawn and landscape industry is they just get obsessed with equipment and financing it and getting more and more and more because they got one quote about it or one job and they're like, I need that now. And so we're just going to talk about what to do and what not to do with equipment, if that makes sense. Because over leveraging yourself with equipment, having it too much. We're going to talk about a couple of rules of thumb when thinking about should I buy, should I rent, stuff like that. So let's jump into that right now. Okay. First rule that I've always gone by, and I think it's really, really crucial, and a lot of people agree with me. I'd love to know in the comments if you agree. I'd love to know via email. I'd love to hear your opinion. Hey, this is my strong opinion, okay? Doesn't mean I'm God, doesn't mean I'm right all the time. If you're not going to use this piece of equipment, when you're at the mower dealer, right? If you're looking at a mower and you're like, I'm not going to run this 80% of the time. Okay, so if you're doing a 4-day work week and you're not going to run it at least, let's just call it 3 out of 4 days, I don't think you should buy it. That means you have other ways and means to get that work done. If you're buying a aerator, okay, we had gotten an aerator and it sat for a long time, so we didn't do a lot of it. So we sold it. If you're not going to use that 80% rule where that skid steer, that MT100, that tractor, that aerator, whatever it is, if you're not going to be using it 80% of the time, I just don't recommend buying it. I think you should rent on a case-by-case basis for work. If you're like, man, should I get another mower? Just run the 80% rule. Hey, you're not going to be running it that much? Then just rent it. I mean, I know you can rent mowers from our dealer here for like $75, $85 a day. So if you're in a bad pinch, you can always rent the mower even too. And I'm not, I know a lot of people go, oh, Alex, like, that's the worst advice. Renting is throwing money down the drain. Like, I get it. Okay. I've heard it a million times doing this show, putting myself out there. And whether or not you guys believe, there are hundreds of people that listen to the show. So I get a lot of opinions. Okay. And I'm not a believer that rent is throwing away. I think rent is flexibility. Okay. I'm a big believer in renting things when it makes sense and buying things when it makes sense. There's no like always buy. That's silly to me. Okay. So 80% rule, super important. The other thing to think about when thinking about buying equipment is, does it fit your core business focus? Okay. So I had a guy a couple weeks ago go, hey man, I'm thinking about, it's actually one of our coaching clients. I don't want to throw his name out there in case he doesn't want to know, but let's call him S. He's a very sharp young man. And he was like, hey man, I'm thinking about buying a skid steer. What do you think? And I went through this exact thing with him. And his core business is landscape, hardscape. He's not a mowing guy. He doesn't do any mowing. So, okay, first thing, check mark. He needs the skid steer for all the jobs he does. I ask, how booked out are you? Okay, if you're booked out 1 week, you should be really cautious to buy a $50,000, $60,000 piece of equipment because you can't justify that you're going to have the work for it. He's booked out 6 to 8 weeks. He's been that way for 2 years. Okay, check again. Then the other one is, okay, you have an MT100. Is it being used? How many crews do you have? Is it being used every day? We have 2 crews, and the other one's being used every day. We get stuck having to rent or do things by hand. So he checked off all 3 things. He had the down payment for it. I think I talked to you guys about this. I'm a no debt guy. I would highly, 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 highly recommend you to pay cash for everything. But in the examples of equipment that costs a lot of money, not trucks, because trucks is different. I don't think you need a $50,000 truck. I think you need a truck that can get you to the job and it looks fine and it runs okay. But equipment, I don't want you to get a piece of junk equipment that's in the shop for 30 days every single time. So he had the 20% down payment for the MT. He bought a skid steer, not MT. He bought the skid steer. So he checked all those boxes. A lot of you guys that I talk to, you're like, I've got 8 mowers. I'm like, how many mowing crews you got? You're like, 2. And I'm like, why do you have 8 mowers? Well, we have one property that twice a year when the sun is pointed at 70 degrees northwest and there's windy day, and you make up these crazy scenarios of why you needed it for this one property. Like, you guys have seen that movie, right? There's a movie, like, I think Major League. If you guys have ever seen Major League, it's a baseball movie, and the Indians are a really bad baseball team. And the announcer, he's the famous guy. I forgot his name. Do you remember his name? Bob Feller, maybe? Bob Feller, something like that. He gives these bizarre stats to make the team sound better. He's like, oh, we've got a good chance to win today. Rick's on the mound, and it's a Thursday at 2 o'clock, and he's chewing gum with the sun down. Like, he just says all this crazy stuff. That's like the way I hear a lot of guys explain why they need equipment. Stop being that guy. If you're that guy, you need to go to EA, Equipment Anonymous, okay? If you need to do that, I will connect you. And that's not a real thing. But it should, you know what, Mac? It should be. That would be a great business opportunity.
Did we just invent EA?
I think we did. EA Sports in the game. No.
Yeah, we might have to change it.
Yeah, EA. That's good. Equipment Anonymous. Equipment Addicts Anonymous, EAA. There we are.
There it is.
If you're one of those guys, we're going to, I want to hear in the comments, hey, this is me. And I want to hear about all the equipment you have. And hopefully I can tell you to sell half of it. But, my heyday, I think we counted right before we sold the company. We had 16 lawnmowers, 0 turns. We had 8 trucks that we owned. We had 50 pieces of handheld equipment. Weed eaters, blowers, hedge trimmers, and edgers. So I think it was about 50 or so. So like I had a ton of equipment. I had 4 trailers, 5 trailers as well. So like I get it. I love equipment. It's fun. I really enjoy it. But you want to have equipment and not let it have you. That's what I'm getting at, okay? And you can't justify it. Like, if it's sitting in your shop not being used, it's a bad investment. That money should be used elsewhere in your business. If you've got a $10,000 unit that you use to make $2,500 a year, sell it, rent it, use that money to beef up your budgets and ad spending or something. So it's just kind of a quick hitters, guys, on equipment. Go and make a good relationship with a local dealer, whether it be a rental or whatever. Try stuff before you buy it. Just don't get so excited that you go and sign for something that you don't really realize what you're doing, and you can't justify it. Think through it. Go and check it out. Take your time. Don't go to a Quip Expo and go home and buy everything you saw in like test road outside. Okay, it's a really bad idea. I have been wanting a ATV for so long, and like I have ridden a lot. I even stop like on the side of the interstate and like ride them all on the front, and like I want one really bad, and I can afford to get one, but I haven't because I can't justify that cost right now with will I ride it enough and all those things. So that's my 2 cents on it, guys. Hopefully it's been helpful for you. If you need help with your equipment costs, make sure you check out Jobber, okay? Jobber will help you justify if you can afford this stuff. And you guys know I'm a Jobber partner. Love those guys. They sponsor the show. We appreciate you, Jobber. Use our code in the link below or through Instagram, 20% off your first 6 months. That's a crazy good deal. And I think you get a 14-day free trial. So y'all check that out. Jobber's awesome. Huge sponsor of the show. Make sure y'all leave us a 5-star review. Keep listening, keep growing. As we are now saying, keep mowing, keep growing, keep leveling up. We love you guys. Hit me up through email, Academy. We'll talk sales, marketing, whatever you want. I'm ready to get roasted for this episode. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.